Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z.
And I'm Keith.
And we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show.
I was thinking it's been a minute since we watched something that we truly hated.
I didn't truly hate it.
No, I was just thinking how there's been stuff that we've watched that's like, oh, that sucked, or that was really boring, or whatever. But like, I haven't really hated something. Well, I guess I bring it up. Portrait of a Lady.
Oh, yeah.
I really hated that one. But I feel like I just hated it so much because
That was about expectations, which were already pretty low.
Yeah.
Or not high,
Yeah.
I should say.
well, for me, I was just like, I'm just going to enjoy getting to see my man.
Right. And then, no, you were.
And then it was, they had his mouth was so crusty throughout so much of the movie. I was like, I can't. And then they kill him.
Well, he did have epilepsy or whatever. Consumption. Dropsy.
Topsy. Flopsy and
Fluency.
Mopsy. Oh, that's always really hard for me whenever it's like, it's someone that that you find attractive, and in a movie they're like supposed to be sickly, and they go above and beyond to make them like, it's fine if they're like pale, sickly or whatever.
Yeah.
But when they do like the crusties around the mouth, I'm like, no. We don't need accuracy like that. You don't need to do that. You can just, it's a film. It doesn't have to be, it's a metaphor. We don't need crusty mouth.
Overall, doing this podcast has really, Jane Campion is one of the biggest 180s I've done.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. American Gigolo. Wow.
She's not American.
Yeah. What a movie.
Hey, Bob.
What a movie.
You're in it. It's about you. What? Do you see a ghost?
Is that a cup of wine just on the
I put a lid on it. Don't worry about it.
top shelf? It's top shelf.
That's right. You play too many of those. Find the mystery games, whatever. Mystery search. What's this? Here's a list of things to find in this shitty photograph.
Fuck.
I know I've told this to you, but I don't know if I said it on mic, that there was a period in my life in Olympia where when we would go to the bar, we would play they would have the little machines at the bar that would have games. And it wasn't gambling because I don't think you could, it's basically like playing a video game.
Yeah.
In that, it's like if you won, there was no prize.
Yeah.
But it was photo comparison where you had to find the differences, but there was like two versions. Of one that was called hunks and the other one was probably called babes. I don't know. But it was just like scantily clad men and women.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever told that story before that I remember.
Oh, okay.
Remember. That I will remember.
Be a bumblebee.
Wow, what a movie.
What a movie.
The
reviews are in.
I found it unnecessary as a film. so much of it was not done well. and
Damn.
and just nonsensical, and so much like I still am not sure if he actually killed them or not.
Well, the synopsis says he didn't. Doesn't.
Yeah, but like everybody's like, but you know, and then she lies about the
That's the thing. I couldn't even
I
remember
don't
and did not care.
because she said like I don't understand because he I didn't it didn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why I did not enjoy. I mean, it's kind of fun to watch, you know, see a movie where Richard Gere, you know, falls out of grace, you know.
Yeah.
Or like, look at this hunk who's just an asshole. And then he just everybody's like, joke's on you. Nobody likes you.
Yeah, I kind of
That
like.
was fun, but then, you know, he doesn't whatever. It ends and it's that he's not getting put to death or whatever. So that's unfortunate. But so
Yeah.
yeah.
Glossed over very quickly, plot wise, is the fact that he dropped Bill Duke to his death.
No, they say
They say, but I mean, it's like one line. And
no, I
that's
know.
it.
I'm like they're like, well, since you tried to save him, they're not prosecuting you for it. I was like, that's
You mean since it was a black man
Right.
who was a pimp?
yeah. I'm like,
Let's be a little more
since
honest.
you pushed him off of the balcony and then
Yeah.
changed your mind and he fell and died anyway. We're not gonna
No charges at all. Not even manslaughter.
what the fuck? We're more we're more worried about this white woman that seemingly has never spoken in her life.
I'm more worried about your defense, Julian, than about her private life. We'll have to go into all the details of the night of the murder.
The maid saw you trying to save Leon, so the police are only pressing the Ryman case.
Horrifying. I did not understand.
Also unclear, like that, the Rainers or whatever they are, is like, are they connected?
Rymans?
That's not even established. I thought,
Well, that's who he
apparently I
kills.
was wrong, but apparently when, you know the scene when Julian is on the payphone and he sees Bill Duke
Yeah.
get in, what's Bill Duke's character's name? Leon.
Yeah.
Get in the Rolls Royce. I thought that was supposed to be Stratton,
Who's Stratton?
the senator married to
Oh, no, that's the
Ryman,
Yeah.
Rymans or whatever. I should get their name right too. So I thought that, which explains something. I mean, I thought it was meant to explain something, but
It
that was already, it was already established that, like, I don't understand retrospectively. That's not a new connection that's being made. Like, except that I guess Leon's in on helping them cover or frame.
I guess it's
Julie.
I guess the I guess what you're supposed to glean from that is
Yeah.
like you wouldn't necessarily hang out with the madam of
Right.
a, you know, you're not going to be like, let's go to let me pick you up from a savings and loan, madam. You know what I mean? So
What is it? Like World Oceanside
Yeah.
Savings Currency Bank?
yeah, it's like so he like gets in the car with him or whatever, and you know that's the thing. Like, oh, they're more connected. Not that they have a
Yeah.
connection, but they're more connected than
Right.
what you would assume. But yeah, like, the fact I think it doesn't make a lot of sense because, well, I don't know. It was just so, I honestly think it's so poorly written. It was like, they were like, how can we write a film where we make a guy say fag like as many times as possible?
Yeah, what is this, Deadwood?
I'm not doing fags. I don't want to do fags. I'll
Or
do the
R
fags
words.
if you want me. Yeah. Jesus
That's
Christ.
fags and R words.
Like, what? I mean, I'd like to have a count of how many times Richard Gere. Oh, is that in the trivia? word. Oh, okay.
There's not a count about it, but there is a quote from Richard Gere that I want to look up. Please.
I hope he's like, that was the most fun I ever had filming. I finally got to be myself. Matt Damon's daughter wrote me an essay about.
In this is Gear in 2012,
Okay.
mind you.
Okay.
I read it and I thought, this is a character I don't know very well. I don't own a suit. He speaks languages. I don't speak any languages. There's kind of a gay thing that's flirting through it, and I didn't know the gay community at all. I wanted to immerse myself in all of that, and I had literally 2 weeks, so I just dove in.
Because John Travolta quit. Because that's the only trivia I actually read, because he wanted Final Cut.
That's one theory.
That's
The other is that his mom died and his dad was ill.
No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't. He kept all his suits that were tailored just for him for the movie.
Well, you had to, because they're different
Yeah.
sizes.
Well, I don't think he had to keep them, but
Well,
he got to.
yeah, I get. Apparently, a bunch of the promo was him doing photo shoots in these Armani suits.
Yeah.
Travolta,
Yeah.
and then dipped out,
Amazing.
and then they had to make whole new suits for Richard Gere's less than 6'2" frame.
I'm not saying that to do sex work, you have to do gay stuff, but it's one of those things. It's like, with, how you might be unfamiliar, but there's like, there's people who are like, full service people who are like, oh, I pull in, like $100K a day, and I only see like 3 people a month kind of shit,
Mm-hmm.
They like will act like and some of it is like, who knows if it's for real or not. That's
Sure.
fine. But that's not the majority of people. Like, people
not.
aren't going to be like, yeah, I mean, people aren't going to be like, oh, I charge $60 a pop, People are going to say that they, nobody wants to advertise that they are, but whatever. While that's not always the case, it still it can happen. It does happen with some people. But likewise, when you're a male sex worker, you're going to be hard pressed to find that much success and not to do any gay shit. Oh, it's just older women for me. Interesting. How'd you start out? And it's very much like, it would be more interesting if it was like, he was like, oh, I don't do that. I don't do fag shit. I don't do, And then like the love story was like him and another dude, because he's saying that because he's trying to pretend like he's not, that might be interesting. But the fact that he's just like, oh my God, he's not an interesting character.
Mm-mm. What's funny is I kept thinking about Travolta watching this movie, and I didn't know that he was originally cast.
Interesting. What made you? Just the
Well,
fact
I guess
because
it feels similar to Saturday Night Fever in a way.
Oh, okay, I've never seen that, so
It's been a million years, and I only have seen it on television, so who knows, But it's only, it's a younger character. I think he's supposed to be like 19 or some shit.
I'm 19.
Yeah. It was apparently a critical hit.
Oh
somehow.
my God.
I know.
This is a thing where it's like, I don't understand how. I mean, it's more like this guy's a terrible. Like, it's not acted that well. It's not written well.
Oh, also because of Perfect, I think.
Okay.
Is what I was thinking about Travolta.
I was thinking of Perfect too. I was like, a lot of the decor is similar.
Yeah. Well, on the quasi espionage.
Yeah.
Shit. What the fuck? He goes to jail.
Yeah.
But no, it was more about like, I don't care about this asshole.
Yeah. Like, what? Yeah. And the senator's wife or Congress, I don't know, whatever.
Wait.
Why?
No, none of it's
It doesn't
terribly
make any
believable.
sense. Yeah. And like normally I find stuff like that more interesting. Like, oh, like, because I feel like a lot of times the way, I mean, I feel like sometimes like the way people meet or the way people come together, it's not always like, oh, you know, this, we met from mutual friends at a dinner party and then we started seeing each other because they said it was a good idea and that's how we got together.
Yeah, right.
A lot of times it is a weird sort of thing. Like we
Sure.
bumped into each other or like we thought we were, I thought I got stood up on a date. Like there's always some kind of weird, connection. And it doesn't have to be romantic. It's just like people will be like, oh, we met because we both were going to the same gym and like we always walked out. We always ended up being there at the same time and whatever. You're like, okay, cool. And now we've been best friends for 20 years.
We
Okay,
met
cool.
on the Onion Personals.
Shout out. That's like the most fucking interesting.
It's up there for...
Yeah. Impressive. Like, what? Yeah, anyway,
I should ask, too, because I found out... I don't remember how, but apparently there was a version of The Onion published here.
oh.
Champaign-Urbana, but it was unofficial. And once, because the original,
Wow.
I think, started in someplace like Madison or Milwaukee or
Okay.
somewhere, Minnesota, Wisconsin, I think.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But once it became a nationalized
Yeah.
thing, they were like, you can't be writing your own shit and putting our name on it.
That's amazing. But yeah, so like they're meeting and stuff like that, like that's fine, but he's
That
such
meet
a
cute.
dick to her immediately. And then it's confusing because he's seemingly thinking that she's trying to pick him up. And then when she's like, oh, you're, how much do you charge? He's like, wow, you are kind of horrible and disgusting. And I would never do something like that. That's really weird.
Well, now, you're something really special, aren't you?
You're one to talk. I saw you sitting here. You wanted me to come over. I came over. I know what I see.
How much would you have charged me?
As what, a translator or a guide?
No. Just one fuck.
Now, you've made a mistake. I don't do that.
You don't, huh? I know what I see, too. Monsieur K.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Madame Just. Don't spoil it. Bonne chance.
What the fuck? What? Why are you talking to her then? What?
No, the dialogue...
What the fuck? It doesn't make any sense.
Their first two meetings are just so ridiculous
And then they just start
painful.
having sex. That sex scene, though. Ooh.
Which, when you said it, and I'm glad you... Because I wanted to say, the biggest problem with this film is it wasn't directed by Michael Mann.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Who is this guy?
Paul Schrader, who also wrote it.
Also has never had sex. Him and Michael Mann never had sex.
Yeah.
Not with a person. They might have had sex with a computer or something, or they've, the things that they've read about. See, this is why pornography is important. Like, people will be like, porn is bad.
Oh, porn shouldn't be your sex ed.
No, but I mean, you should at least, if you're making films like Michael, watch one pornography film, just one, to see that there's in and out, and it's not the places that you've assumed they are. Clearly, I don't at people's mouths when they kiss. Do you know what that is? Like, I don't know. Even just watch the foreplay of a porno. Like, at least, Michael, man, I'm begging you.
They don't do foreplay in pornos. Everyone knows that.
I'm talking about the rimming.
Get it? That's a rim
No,
shot.
I know. Yeah.
It's called a rim shot. It's because you put the drumstick on the edge, the rim, if you will, of the snare drum on one side, and then you bring it down hard on the other side.
When cats poop in a litter box and then try to cover it with the wall. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, why does it still stink so bad? And you're like, 'cause you shit in a box that you also piss in.
I do enjoy when they just need something to scratch on. The instinct isn't sophisticated enough to make sure the poop is getting covered. It's just the gesture of...
Yeah, they'll scratch and then they look back and they smell it and they're like, not covered up yet. What the fuck? I mean, I guess...
And then do the same thing.
Yeah, and then keep... Yeah, I'm like, try different angle. I don't know.
Idiots. They're so dumb.
I did find out cats have...
Why do we hire them?
Cats have really bad eyesight, and learning that, yeah.
Is that why they see shit that isn't there?
It's why they'll will hit their head on stuff and like not, or like get freaked out really easily because they don't fucking know what shit is, and they like
cucumbers?
Well, like, I guess like water, like it's why they'll hit water, like, because they don't, like, they can't see what it is, so they don't know.
That seems like evolution did them a disservice.
And also like why they'll like walk into fire and shit like that, because they just like, I think
Never seen that happen.
you've never, cats will just sit on a candle, like they have no perception. Like so many, I've seen. Now it used to happen. We had a cat that it used to happen to. He was an orange cat, and he would just full on. We had more than one cat who would just walk by a candle and just light a blaze and not even.
Like they would catch on fire.
They would fully catch on fire, and they wouldn't even notice. Like their tail would be like, poof, and they're just like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" Like no clue. But I've seen it. I've seen so many videos of cats. Just catching on fire because they just sat on a candle or whatever. They just put their tail on a candle and then they're just like looking at their tail like, what the fuck?
Cat on a
see this?
hot
candle. Those who can, dole.
Doesn't even make sense.
But yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Okay, so
oh my
Gere
God.
plays Julian Kay, who's... I mean, this is why it really should have been directed by Michael Mann, honestly.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, because...
It opens with him driving a Mercedes down PCH.
Driving. It sounded like you said drawing a Mercedes.
Oh. He's one of those caricature artists on the beach.
Fucking
a horse and a zombie.
Was it? Is it in oh God, what was it? The Garbage Man movie.
Men at Work.
Men at Work, and the guy that was Keith David, is he in it? Mm-hmm. He was like, just like drawing like.
Oh yeah, yeah, like helicopters and war.
Yeah.
Planes and shit.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. He's the best part of that movie.
Yeah,
Go figure.
for sure. Yeah.
R.I.P. No, wait. That was Tony Todd. Sorry.
I was like, when did this happen?
So sorry.
Oh my God. I had a fucking...
Carl Weathers die in the last couple of years? Did that happen? I thought you were going to end the recording.
Stop saying words. Just stop. Jesus.
I missed.
I thought you on purpose.
Or never on purpose.
Yeah. February.
24?
Almost a year. Yeah. God, remember how Treat Williams died too?
Why do you say that? Why bring him up?
Because he died suddenly. I was just thinking about how you should treat on a, I don't know, Treat Williams and I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what was that? Why was it Carl Weathers?
Was it Carl Weathers? I don't think it was. I thought it was.
Treat Williams can have a little Treat Williams as a treat.
Something like that.
I was very funny.
I thought it was the guy that. Oh God, who plays Lando?
Oh, Billy D.
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah.
So maybe that's right. Yes. Okay. Is he still with us?
Yeah. And he like in his like old age, he talked about like how he's. I like read an article where he said he always identified as like being more than just a man, like he, having a female side and how he's very
Oh, really?
fluid and stuff. I'm like, oh,
I thought he went conservative.
I don't know. He seemed real to me.
Wow.
What?
I
That's
can't believe
how
you'd
you
say that on
it.
microphone.
That's how you say it.
Anywho,
Because you do. Are you, or which one are you? Or a little bit of both? You know?
no.
Are you like this? Or are you like this?
Left is right, right is wrong.
Oh, is that how you know?
That was the rule of thumb I heard
Oh, shit.
back in junior high.
See, but this is where it's confused. This is, okay, this is going to make me sound stupid. But when people are like, it's left or right, I'm like, is that from the perspective of the looker or the person wearing it? And I know that
The
there's an
wearer.
error. I know.
Sorry.
But like when you're looking at it, I can't.
Stage left.
Yeah. Right. I'm like, what? Like it's, yeah. Left is right, right is wrong. That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
Hey, but it's catchy. I still recall it.
It's catchy, but imagine, oh my God.
Well, that kind of shit would get you beat up.
Well, I know, but like, why would you
at
wear a
best.
earring in the right ear then? Like, why even have an earring? Some people don't know left from right, and they'll just beat your shit because you have an earring. Like, why even get one? What?
Well, I think it probably started as like code.
Yeah, but then, right, but then when it mainstreamed, that's when you take that earring out.
Fair point.
That's all.
I'm sure by the time I heard about it, it wasn't really.
Right, yeah.
And of course, how many dudes got their ear pierced in the right ear, not knowing, not having heard the clever mnemonic that I was exposed to.
I remember one of my managers, the one that would cry spontaneously when I worked at the bank. And when I say cry spontaneously, I don't mean like he would burst into tears.
Right.
He would multiple
Just had-
times a day have tears streaming down his face.
He just had leaky. ducts.
Constant tears streaming down his face. Never spoke of it. Never said, "Oh, my allergy." Nothing, and it was constant every single day. And it was very jarring, because they would just be streaming down his face, and he would wipe them. He wouldn't speak of them though, or they would just be. And he would fully be helping, I would watch tears just like drip off his chin,
God.
and he'd just be like, next. I'm like, girl, what the fuck? Anyway, he said one time that when he first started working at the bank that we worked at, that it said that women could wear earrings, but men couldn't. And he was like, oh, that's not okay. And he made a big fuss about it. And then they let men wear earrings. They changed it.
Because of that dude.
Because he fucking... He's like, that's sexist. I don't like that. I was like, all right, that's cool. I was like, all right.
You go.
Make a fuss. That's cool. I don't care. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what to say about this movie because I don't even know. I mean...
Well, look, I keep trying to start a plot synopsis.
Okay, so he's drawing a convertible down the street.
That's right.
And
Call Me by Blondie is playing, which, by the way, was written for this movie.
Really? I was going to ask that.
No, I'd never heard that.
I figured because of how it's used,
Yeah.
seemingly as the theme for the movie. So I was like, what?
Yeah, no
That's
idea.
crazy. It's a good song. I mean, that's one good thing that I mean, I can imagine going to see this movie in 1980
Right.
and that song starts playing and being like, fuck yeah. Like the first time I'm hearing that song, be like, oh my God, what the that's a jam. And then, walking out and being like,
Yeah.
oh man, that's a good fucking song. And then it starts playing on the radio and you're like, oh shit, yeah, hell yeah. I could see that happening. Especially back then when, you didn't, that was like,
Right.
you had to wait for your turn to listen to a song, You could have just, it would have just, you could have just hit repeat on Spotify like I do.
Is that a function on Spotify?
Yeah, you can repeat one
Really?
over and over. Yes, of course. Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought that was a premium, if anything.
No. You can like repeat a playlist or you can repeat a single song, but you have to it's got like you hit repeat and then you hit it again and it'll be like one. It'll have like one on it and it's you smile at me like I do something wrong.
I just had no idea.
Okay.
And I'm smiling at we haven't got past the opening.
Call me.
Oh, horrible typeface choice for the
I know. Yeah.
credits.
Just
I mean, it's a cool
absolutely
typeface,
unreadable.
but yeah, illegible.
And it's not just the typeface, it's how they, because it's like black on white. So it's
Yeah,
like the
right.
shadow is white. So
Correct.
you're like, but then there's also a black shadow too. Like, no, it's bad. It's
And
very bad.
it's like it's being written out is how they do it.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Just illegible.
Illegible.
Hey.
Illegible.
Anyway, yeah. He's a high-priced gigolo to high society ladies around the Southern
Yeah.
California area. He's bouncing between, let's call them managers, I guess. You've got Anne, who seems to be his main.
It's confusing
Handler.
because they're both acting like, well, she acts like he's practically working for himself and doing favors for her if he takes a client from her or for her. She's like, you don't give me any repeats. You don't blah, 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 blah. She's all pissy with him immediately. And then he goes to Leon. And Leon begs him to take someone.
Out in Palm Springs.
And he does. And then his life is ruined.
Baby, this is a 2-hour gig.
What's the drive?
Plus the drive. 5 C's, straight in and out drive. Nothing fancy. Come on, do me a favor.
I don't know. Maybe. If I get some time, I'll give you $50.
You go fuck yourself. You think I'm in this for charity?
But then she's like, I'll help you.
Right. But then he bails on the
Yeah.
Swede, so she's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're on
Which
your own.
I'm like, it would have been more. Well, whatever. Anyway.
Wait, hang on. This has solved my dilemma
Okay.
because I was reading through the shooting locations for this film because, especially if it's in Southern California and it's of a certain era, I'm like, I always nostalgia or whatever.
Oh, yeah, for
has
sure.
me like, oh, did I recognize this? Most of the descriptions are like interior and exterior gay disco where Julian is looking to speak to Leon. That's like as detailed
Right.
as they get. This one, however, synopsizes the entire movie. Julian does a sub gig for Leon that happens to be a rough trick and the beginning of his future demise as the #1 gigolo in LA's high society, Palm Springs, California.
Oh my God. Hector Elizondo shines.
Oh, star of the show.
Shines.
Oh my God, he was great.
I do love me some Hector Elizondo though. I've always found that he is so
Detective
good
Sunday.
at just absolute dry humor. Like he can just deliver a line that is spoken as if it's not comedy and you're on the floor pissing. You're like, what the fuck, dude? So yeah, he was great.
Apparently also in Pretty Woman.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought he was in Pretty Woman. He's also is he also in Runaway Bride? Or am I wrong about that one?
No idea.
Yeah, I might not be in that one. I don't know. He's in one of them. He's in one of those movies.
Maybe I might know. He's in The Taking of Pelham 123. The OG one.
Okay. I thought. Okay.
I don't know if he's in
He's
the
so
remake.
baby. He was so baby.
He's got one of those faces though. He's probably like 28 and looks like he's 40.
He's all bald. His whole head is out in this. You get to see it. His forehead goes all the way back and then some. Like he's got something, and he's got such a fucking. I don't want to say round because that's not even accurate. It's like
Bulbous.
yeah, he's too much. He's got too much head. It's crazy. It feels like as he aged, his head went down a little.
Yeah.
He got less head, if you know what I mean.
Well, what do you think? Huh?
Bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal your thunder. He's teaching me how to dress.
So Paul Schrader also wrote, because I think he's more of a screenwriter than a director. I mean, although he has a fair amount of directing credits. He wrote Taxi Driver.
So he just likes.
Horrible Men.
Well, he likes. He's like, I know a thing or two about hooking.
Yeah, I mean, apparently one of the impetuses for writing this movie was like, oh, Taxi Driver, that character was completely asexual. And it's like, what other movies that he did? I don't know. His other movies that he wrote, screenplays that he wrote before this were all like street life kind of things.
Yeah.
And this was a high society kind of thing. And also, in contrast to Travis Bickle or whatever, this is a guy who has compulsive sex but takes no pleasure from it. And like, that's...
I think you just described asexuality.
Yeah.
You just described...
There's one line but from Hutton's character.
Yeah.
Michelle. Mm-hmm. Where she's like, when we make love, you go to work.
Yeah.
I can't give you any
which
pleasure.
Which is dubbed over because she's saying, when you fuck me, you go to work. But then her mouth...
Interesting.
Or like her mouth is saying fuck, but it's saying make love. Like the words are make love. And I was like, okay. And then yeah.
Because later then she says, the other day when I said I didn't want to make love,
I always want
to fuck you.
Yeah. Right. And so I was like, what?
Anywho.
Yeah.
And I'm also really curious, but not really curious. There was definitely a moment, well, I guess most of the 80s, but I wonder if this film is one of the earlier instances of this LA high society thing that came to dominate a lot of films. Everything became had to have the preface Beverly Hills for a while.
Yeah.
I'm sure because of the success of like Beverly Hills Cop, but like Troop Beverly Hills, and I'm sure there's Beverly Hills Ninja.
I will accept your dangerous mission.
A deadly counterfeiting ring.
But if it isn't the Great White Ninja.
And Chris Farley in a Kung Pao adventure. Beverly Hills Ninja.
That somebody in the 80s would have had to say, like, let's Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, I guess, nouveau riche sort of thing that was happening.
Yeah,
And I wonder if... And Michael Mann with... I guess Miami Vice, even though it's Miami and not L.A. Like the whole beach town, beach living, expensive cars, fancy suits.
Right.
Implied tons of cocaine.
Yeah.
Even Nakatomi Tower was not immune to this. People doing coke in the. I think that was my first memory of seeing that in a movie. People are doing coke.
Nakatomi.
People doing coke during a Christmas party.
Wow. Yeah, that's something that's like wild. How I didn't realize how casually people do coke.
It's insane.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool.
This in my brief, I spent a week in Berlin.
Yeah. Oh. She.
And there was this kid there who actually at one point been in class with back in Olympia. Somebody was saying like, what happened to him that day? You know, and like, oh, he did coke and then fell asleep in the park. And I'm like, how do you do coke and then fall asleep? That's probably a red flag.
Right?
You're doing cocaine and then.
Yeah.
Was it falling asleep or was it
Yeah.
drug-induced coma?
Or, oh, you have ADHD.
Right.
I just coke and then I just felt really calm.
Retrospectively, that could be possible for that person.
You've never done coke, right?
No.
Yeah. I think I've told you this. I might have said this on mic before. I don't remember, but I don't have desire to do drugs for the most part. But someone once warned me against doing coke in the most chill and simple way. They just said, "Do you have anxiety?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Don't do coke. It's not good for anxiety." And I was like, "All right." Good to know. They were like, "It is not gonna." They're like, "It is," and they were like someone that was like, you know, constantly. They were just like in a panic state constantly. They're like, "You should not do coke." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, taking that from you, I will take your advice.
Right.
You have done it. It did not.
Also,
feel good.
acid. I mean, I know it's not as much of a thing.
When people are like microdosing, I'm like, that's wonderful and kudos to you. I'm so thrilled that you. I have trouble microdosing weed. Like it's not gonna. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And when people are like, oh my God. Yeah. Anything if it's going to change my perception of anything, I am not going to be okay. I don't think you understand how fragile I am holding on.
Right. Exactly.
It is not 50-50. Yeah. I'm going to be that negative 50. It's not.
Yeah. Right.
50-50 chance it helps with
150% chance I will have a horrible experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until, I mean, you know, clearly I avoided somewhat, you know, and I didn't have a lot of, well,
yeah.
Starting in high school, I was very repelled by,
Same.
You know, it started with the kids who I perceived who were very popular.
Yeah.
And yet getting fucking wasted on the weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend. And like, what is this? This is gross. That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
Not that I was getting invited to do that, but
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like, this looks so not sustainable or interesting.
Right.
But it was also just like my own personal, like, I don't have enough grasp on things to feel like want to relinquish control.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Around other people.
Right.
No thanks.
Like I didn't even start drinking until I was almost 30. And that was a very conscious choice because I was like, I don't want to, because one, I have a lot of addiction in both sides of my family. You know, there's a lot of like issues. Yeah. And so like, I always wanted to be really careful, but I was like, I want to make mistakes and know that I'm the one that made them. Like if I'm making a mistake, if I'm making a choice, I want to know that. I don't want to start. And it was always like watching people. I mean, this happens like even on like social media now and stuff like that. Seeing I think young people, like, I understand, like, you're having fun with your friends and that's great. But I think, like, when you're young, you are so, like, having fun can sometimes be all you want to do, which is great. You're young, you can do that. But, like, the way that they don't understand, like, how dangerous it can be to, like, get so wasted or so drunk. And, like, even here and shit like that, like, there'll be, like, kids die from alcohol
Yeah,
poisoning and shit like
I know.
that all the time, because it's like, just because you're young doesn't mean that you are going to be able to handle it.
Right, or
like,
that there's an infinite.
yeah, right. And so, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure it's fun while it's happening, but, like, it's horrible to watch.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not fun to be around. And so I was always like, "Ugh," I don't want to do that. And that's not always an easy thing because when you aren't someone who drinks and you don't do drugs, you'll be surprised. People don't want to be your friend.
Right.
And
What are you, a narc?
yeah, like, like it's a lot of, like, people just being very vehemently against you, being like, no, I don't want to do that. And they're like, you should try it though. And you're like, that's
Right.
great. No, like,
Yeah.
and a lot
Well,
of,
and that's sort of the point I was gonna come to. Is like, it wasn't until my late 30s, 40s
Yeah.
that I was around people who had enough
Right.
experience with different substances that it was informed by things like depression, anxiety. Like,
yeah,
like someone saying to me, "Oh yeah, you should probably not do, if you struggle with depression, don't do ecstasy because it
right.
uses up serotonin."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Stuff like that where people are like, yeah. And finding out, like, that was something where I didn't necessarily, I was a little interested in weed, but not, like, super interested, because I knew that, like, it can fuck with, like, I don't do it often, because if I did it, like, every day, I would just have anxiety constantly.
Yeah.
Like, I have to only do it, like, every now and then I'm fine. Like, if I do it, like, a couple times a month, I'm fine. No issue. But if I'm doing it, like, every weekend, I'm just going to start being anxious constantly, because
Yeah.
I just can't, it just doesn't, and so, like, and drinking too, like, something where I do love to just have a glass of wine and feel that little, like, ooh, I feel a little chatty, like, oh, let's,
Yeah.
and, I do miss that a little bit, because when you're on medication that makes you sleepy, it doesn't make you chat. Like, sometimes, if you have 2 glasses of wine, you'll get sleepy, but 1 glass of wine and you'll get chatty. Medication doesn't work that way. Medication, it just makes you
Well,
sleepy.
your medication.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not like if I take a double dose, I get sleepy, but I get sleepy and then I go sleepy. I eepy and then I eepies. So, you don't get that, yeah, I'm going to fall asleep, but I'm not going to have that fun little chatty, time before then. But, like, it also helps my anxiety levels and it helps me sleep at night. So I'm good with taking it. Like, I'd rather do that than drink.
Yeah.
If I'm going to, be able to function in any capacity, okay.
Yeah.
I guess drinking's not that important to me. Because I just don't have any tolerance. I don't have much of a tolerance when I'm not on medication. So being on medication completely zaps all of my tolerance. But whatever. Yeah,
Drugs.
there's it is a little bit sort of, like, interesting that, because I feel like X does this too, the film X, where there's, like, sort of a, if you're doing sex work or if you're doing stuff, there's always going to be drugs involved.
Right.
I'm not saying that that's not true in a lot of ways. I mean, the same thing with Hollywood. Like anybody doing anything
right.
is, anywhere there's money, there's going to be drugs is really what it is. But a little bit the implication of just the casualness of it, like, oh yeah, that's just what you do. I'm like, do we really? Do we have to make it? Do we have to do that? Where it's like the implication of like you have to cope somehow, so you have to do drugs in order to do that, and it's I mean, yeah, it's probably hard to relax if you're like a stripper
With
or like
the Law and Order with the girl who ODs on amitriptyline because her mom's forcing her into pornography.
Yeah. And they're like, I mean, to be fair, but amitriptyline is my EP meds.
Right. And she went EP.
Yeah, she went EP and never a wakey. Anyway, would you recommend this movie?
Almost. You may be surprised.
Almost.
Elizondo and Bill Duke. I'm always excited to
great.
see Bill Duke, and I've never seen him with this much hair.
True.
I mean,
his
sucks
fit is
that he's playing a pimp, but
yeah, he's playing. Yeah.
But he's not. It's not a 70s blaxploitation pimp. He's not wearing big hats and
true. That's
platforms or whatever.
I mean, well, he is wearing platforms. He does have not platforms. He's got heels. He's got a sick fit. Let me just say,
his fashion is
ridiculous. But
way better than anything.
Right.
Gear everywhere. It's boring. Giorgio Armani. This apparently made Giorgio Armani blew him up.
Yeah.
Because
he had a blowout.
I guess because of those photo shoots. I guess he wasn't like big in the States or something before that.
Okay.
But the shit Gear's wearing, I mean, sure, it's tailored nicely, but boring as fuck. As you pointed out. I'm into
it. Well, his color choices are like, I didn't mind them. I think that, well, whatever. But it's funny that there was like zero. I mean, I'm sure a little bit of it was the time, but I'm like, there's not a single risk in any of this. It's all just, all the colors are just muted. And I'm like, is that really how everyone, like, I'm like, this, okay, I don't know.
No, it's high fashion.
Yeah. Like, okay. Whatever.
Well, probably after the loudness of the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I guess.
Quote unquote. Even though the 70s is.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, well, I will say
aggressive earth tones.
The late 70s, very early 80s did have a very strangely fucking boring ass, like it was all just like, let's take every ugly piece of fashion and just pounce on it for these like 3 years. It was just so like short permed hair and
hair,
ladies business fashion.
Period.
Oh, and everything was so.
The birth of the skirt suit.
Yeah, it was like skirt suits, but it was always. It was also like those big ass glasses, that took up
Peggy Hills.
Most of your face with the tint on half of them,
and
then a short perm, and it's like I'm 22 years old.
Right. Yeah,
what the fuck? My grandma till her death.
Candy.
Yeah, exactly. Till the day she died, my grandma had that short ass permed hair, and I'm like, girl.
That's
not really.
What's wild watching Law and Order from the beginning is seeing all the poodle perms.
See, this is
from 1990.
Yeah, this is a thing where I feel like something that brought Law and Order, like sort of what made Law and Order what it was at the time, was that I think like they really wanted it to seem like real people. So like a lot of the, like all the people, like they weren't trying to have like fashion models or like everybody
clearly
look a
that
certain
changed.
way. Right. But I'm like, oh, it's really cool to watch it. And it's something because it does seem more realistic because it really does feel like they're just people on the street. Except for, I didn't realize Law and Order loves just recasting the same fucking people over and over. They started that
tradition.
Immediately.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, yeah, season 1, yeah, we don't give a shit. Season 2, different characters, same actor. What?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know that I'd recommend recommend it
Yeah.
just because it's pretty fucking boring and also like there were a
It is
couple
boring.
times I had to remind myself that I'm watching this for the pod, so I have to keep watching the film. I was
Yeah.
like, oh god,
No,
there's
so much
brutal.
driving.
So much driving. It was very stressful. Like once he started looking,
God.
once he started looking for the jewels, I
Ridiculous.
was like, I hope he gets put to death. I was like, I hope he's found guilty because this guy's got zero brain matter.
Can you explain to me? Yeah, right. That scene starts with him seeing gunk on the side of his car.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So here's the problem I have with that. That would be fine if there was a small smear where someone like put the jewels under his car, got a little gunk on their hand, smeared a little bit on his car without realizing. No, they wiped down half of his car with the slimy gunk that he then gets somehow all over his face. What? And clothing, rips apart his own car, finds the jewels that they have hidden in his car.
Those very expensive looking jewels.
Gets it, rubs his hands all over it, then rips the bag open and rubs his hand all over the jewels with the gunk all over his fingers. And I'm like, yes, you are deserving of this.
Never clear to me what his intention is to do with the. I mean, he throws them at Leon eventually, but
the thing is, I'm like, it's
that's not a confrontation, bro.
right. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, when Leon says, you were extremely pick-outable, where he's like, why did you frame me? And he's like, because you were frameable. You were easily frameable.
Right.
Nobody fucking likes you. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. You have the brain matter of the same gerbil that you shove up your ass.
Oh,
like,
here it is.
Fucking shit. I'm like,
We
how
put
do I
that-
make a gerbil reference? Fucking. In walks that Twitter lady. Actually, did you know that was a rumor that was made up about internet and it never happened? I do not have any video evidence of this gerbil. Like what the?
Not only that became a thing that an allegation that got used against other people. Just homophobia.
Oh,
basically.
I'm sure.
But
Yeah.
I remember Bunny telling me that there was some like local news personality who basically got run out of Philly because they threw that accusation
Because of gerbling.
Quote unquote gerbling. There are some interesting cinematic choices that I liked. A few, okay.
I said, mm-hmm.
No, you didn't. You said, no.
I tried to say, mm-hmm, but I was moving, so it came out weird.
The scene after he comes home and I guess he's looking for a bug or whatever. He tears up his own apartment after it's been put back together, after a search warrant has been served.
After, it looked like he served himself the search warrant with the way he turned that fucking shit.
Amen, brother. But the scene ends with him, like, sitting against a wall or whatever, and then the light changes by...
Oh, yeah.
It's coming through blinds. There's a lot of blind shadows.
Yeah.
Which I kind of love. Also, Michael Mann was a master of. But the shadows are moving.
Yeah.
It accelerates,
Yeah.
It doesn't match. It doesn't make sense.
It's not real time.
Right. But it's not sped up.
Yeah.
The film isn't sped up. Anyway, so there was some... there's some random... normally they would be establishing shots where you're just seeing shots around the city.
Yeah.
But the one you pointed out was just a rooftop.
It's a rooftop.
So you can't tell where it is.
There's no... Oh,
and
it's
just cuts
not
away
like
to something else.
It's not like the shot from a rooftop. It is the shot of a
Yeah.
rooftop.
Right.
Not like... Yeah, and it's nowhere that...
And then there's the one after he talks to Leon in the gay club, and he comes out, and then there's a shot of a different building. It's no reason. I kind of love shit like that.
Yeah.
The problem is this movie is already too long and boring.
Yeah.
And has too many scenes where he's just driving and the plot is not advancing.
Correct.
There's the whole scene where he's laying out every shirt and tie he has while it's the duration of that whole song.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's him picking an outfit. And it's all like...
And then taking it off because he fucks what's her name.
Correct.
Great. Loved it. No notes. No fucking notes. I loved everything about this movie. The writing, the directing, the acting. Everyone did a stellar job. Richard Gere deserved every accolade. I don't really like Richard Gere that much.
No, he's not good.
He's
overrated.
It's so embarrassing. Like, it's like, this is the guy. This is who.
It's not as bad as Al Pacino.
Oh my God. Don't get me
But
fucking started on Al Pacino, girl.
least
You
with-
gotta watch out. You don't want to get me started on Al Pacino. You know how much I fucking hate that bitch.
Fellas,
Fucking.
don't get him started on Al Pacino.
Fucking hate Al Pacino.
Been warned.
Oh my God.
Well, at least Pacino was never considered a
Pacino-
heartthrob.
At least he wasn't.
I don't think so. Not like Richard Gere was a sex symbol around this time. Oh, we got to talk about the full
his
frontal,
peen.
though.
Yeah, his peen's in it.
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I rebuke that. No one warned me, and I wish someone had.
To his credit, he says, I felt vulnerable. It wasn't in the original script. I felt vulnerable, but I think it's different for men than it is for women.
Yeah.
Look at that guy having the basic understanding of...
Right. Richard Gere seems like a fine person.
For a guy who
like,
doesn't know any languages, not bad. Be a bumblebee.